Wait, before going any further, this is part 6 of my ranking of the most commonly talked about analog horror series. If you don't want to be confused and want to understand the full context of what I'm talking about, I would highly recommend watching the other 5 parts that are down in the description below. Okay, now let's begin. So I know you guys have been wanting me to talk about this series for a while now, and honestly I understand why. It seems to have every single thing that I would like within a series, using a mostly realistic presentation style, a subtle horror, and a monster with no stretched out faces. And just like Midwest Angelica, in a sea of boring clones, Dog Nightmares can feel like a breath of fresh air in the ocean of mediocrity. Now, does this mean I actually like the series? Yeah, I do, but I don't really think that it's as good as everyone is saying it is. Don't get me wrong, the series is excellent and really doesn't have any hyper glaring issues that a lot of the other series have, but I think the series is also far from being as good as it could possibly be with the concept that it's working with. Speaking of, it's a deceptively simple concept, just like Midwest Angelica. It does so much with it. It combines an older commercial with analog horror and stranger tropes to create a fully enriching and terrifying concept. But in order to understand that, I think I should explain just a little bit of the plot first. Before getting into this, I should really preface for you guys, major spoiler warning. If you have not watched it yet, then go watch it. Seriously, form your own opinions first, then come back. Okay, now let's continue. Dog Nightmares follows a girl named Emily who in 2008 loses track of her dog Bailey and is trying to do everything and anything in order to find it. From the very first episode, we start to see and hear strange things, with the first episode consisting of a Wegmans dog head commercial where at the end the dog reappears with blacked out eyes. In the next few episodes, we see more and more about Emily, where we see a photo compilation of animals where every once in a while we'll see a drawing of a creepy staircase. This starts to hint that something may be wrong with the weird crawl space, as Emily describes what sounds like a dog barking behind the staircase, but she cannot tell by the noise if it's real or not. This then leads to her taking a photo of the window and then later finding an old drawing she made with what looks to be one of the Wegmans dog people sticking their head in and waving. This is one of the things that really alerts now adult Emily as she goes back through her old videos, as it's just so off. It feels like she is being watched in these videos by something that resembles one of them, but it's not. It's behaving in a sinister and almost dangerous way, and we then see she gets a birthday card with one of the dogs on it, as well as a VHS compilation of more of the commercials. This shows that our main character seems to be a bit obsessed with these commercials, as she proceeds to talk about just how much she loves these gifts. We then see what resembles Bailey, but on closer inspection, the dog looks horribly deformed, not resembling a normal dog whatsoever, but rather something imitating one. This moment actually caught me off guard, as I wasn't expecting whatever the hell that was. Compared to a lot of the other scares, this one has gotta be one of the most effective in the entire series just because of how off-putting it is. It's so subtle, but when you notice it, it's really off-putting and it just catches you off guard, and it's really good at doing that. We then see Emily walk down her staircase when she starts to hear something rustling around downstairs. Upon turning with the flashlight, we then get a quick glimpse of a real-life version of one of the Wegmans dogs looking directly at her and slowly getting closer. It inches forward, struggling and panting as it gets closer to the girl, a clear example of a stranger danger type situation. It then cuts to the girl talking about how just close friends she is with the dog man now and the picture that comes along with it. We then start to see her explore a room as some strange noises come outside before cutting to a note that says it's not her Bailey because her Bailey is afraid of the dark. It then cuts to some footage of what looks like a Wegmans version of Bailey watching Emily through the same window that the original creature was watching through. Finally, we see another photo album as well as some other family footage, with that being all that is released as of right now. The rest of what's seen has only really been shown in teasers, so I really don't feel comfortable discussing it yet without its full context, and since we've gotten all the way through the plot as of right now, let's get on to what worked. Now before getting into this section, make sure that if you like this video to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on Dog Nightmares down below. I want to hear your personal opinion on the series, as well as what makes critical analysis of these so fun is the discussion of your opinions with others. So I want to hear your takes on them as well. And okay, let's now get on to what I personally think worked about this series. With Dog Nightmares, what makes this series run is quite different from a lot of the other analog horror series out there. Compared to a lot of them, this one is a lot more like an older YouTube horror video combined with analog horror elements. There's not a lot of blank screens with text or analog stylings here. Instead, it goes from the feelings of an older YouTube horror video that you just somehow accidentally stumbled upon. It feels closer to something like Username 666 and Chainmail Chasers than something like the Mandela Catalog, for example. And unlike a lot of the other series I've covered where the main themes are usually religious in nature, instead this one is more stranger danger in style. There's just something so off-putting about the Dogman, and I can't exactly put my finger on it fully, but I can place a guess. One of the things that's embedded into our brains from a very young age is the concept of stranger danger, where if you see an adult who you don't recognize around a child that there could be something possibly nefarious going on. It's something that's all too common within this world, and this show really plays off that fear perfectly. It feels disturbing to see this horrific dog monster stalk and prey upon this young girl, and it's such a frightening concept. This creature instills an actual uncanny valley sense better than literally any of the stretched out faces. It plays off the uncanny valley in a way where we can tell it's not human, but we can't exactly tell if it's a mask or rather their actual face. And unlike a lot of the other series that I cover here, a lot of the scares actually work despite just how simple they are. A lot of them don't try to be anything more than they are, and that's what makes them work, as one of the overwhelming issues that I've noticed is creators trying to do just a bit too much for the scares that they're trying to present. This doesn't allow the scare to do its intended purpose, and I also had noticed a ton of over-explain with a lot of the series scares, which removes the fear factor afterwards, as now your brain has an actual explanation of why things in the series are done in the way that they are. And the pacing of these shorts are also excellent. As well, it does a cliche of a spooky image being interspliced with a bunch of normal ones. It does so in a way that sticks with the theme of the episode. As when we see the normal pictures and drawings of the animals next to one of the windows, it's even more shocking to see a monster in the drawing that you can't see in the photo. It causes me to think, are these incidents manifestations in the mind of Emily, or is the Wegman's dog actually messing with her, or is this some sort of monster that's trying to get Emily, instead using one of her favorite characters to torment and mock her for losing her dog? That might be why it changes its appearance to look like the dog she once owned, seemingly trying to confuse her or let her guard down in order to strike. It's a really effective monster and really keeps the majority of the series from falling flat to me, as the idea of the weird Wegman's dog is really creepy and adds a nice atmosphere to blend with it. And in all honesty, pacing wise, I think the series is great as well. It does a really good job of slowly building up the pieces for you to solve what's going on, while also making things just vague enough that allows discussion and for your mind to wander on what truly is happening here. And that's the sign of a great series, but like a lot of the things that sound too good to be true, there's always some sort of catch that keeps it from being the best it could be. Like a lot of this series has some problems that keep it from being as good as it could be. However, unlike Midwest Angelica, I feel the flaws here run a little bit deeper. While I think the concept here works, I think the series is once again trying to be a bit more than it should be, as it seems to be trying to pull way too many strings when the idea of it is quite simple. And unlike Midwest Angelica, where the complexity was a little much but didn't distract as much from the experience, I really can't say the same for this one. There are just a couple steps here that are missing, and while normally I don't like griping on those too much, it does come across a bit distracting. And while the vast majority of episodes do move at a good pace, not all are equal to one another. Take Dog Show for example. Normally I don't go after first episodes too much, but this one is distractingly worse than all the other episodes. Like, what exactly is the point of what's going on here? Like, yeah, it's a creepy VHS tape where at the end we see the dog with blacked out eyes, but how does that exactly fit within the plotline of the series? It feels like a neat one-off, but not exactly a continuation of the entire vibe that's going on within the series, and I wouldn't bring this up if it was just for one episode, but there are multiple episodes where it's just a Wegmans commercial with slight corruption before going into a slightly disturbing face, and that's it. It just doesn't match the standards of the rest of the series, and it's short form, making the distractions and failures of the episode even more apparent. The longer form episodes don't have this issue nearly as much, but many of the shorter ones do have this issue to a glaring degree. But now let's get on to my actual ranking. When ranking series, I really try to give a fair ranking while also considering every episode, as all the parts together are really what makes a series work. And while a lot of the episodes here are excellent at building tension and honestly have some of the best scares that Analog has to offer, it still has a ton of glaring issues. And because of those more glaring issues, while I still heavily enjoyed the series, I really cannot give it an S tier. So while giving it a ranking, I still think it's better than the majority of the B tier stuff, so I'm just going to give it an A tier. It's still one of the best out there, just not anywhere near as good as the stuff in the S tier. And with all that being said, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts down below. Do you agree or disagree? And that's all for this week, and I'll see you all next week.